Hey everybody, I just wanted to jump in to introduce a webinar that we recently did for PNC agents that are in the Ohio area and surrounding states. There's finally a new program available that, and, knowing that Ohio is monopolistic, that would allow agents to earn revenue on a workers' comp service program that includes claims admin, a new billing model, earning like 6% commission there. That's a great way for agents now to finally get some additional revenue and sort of lock in for their current clients they're writing a package for, and give a really good solid option. And we went into the sales strategy on this webinar. We've done a couple of others on the program itself that are on the podcast Insurance Shop Talk website episode area. This one, actually goes more detail into the sales model, the sales process, and how to get a one-page form completed, preferably with a DocuSign instead of doing Accords and so on. Just a real easy process to launch to clients who are already in Ohio that they may have that they're writing the workers' comp, excuse me, the package for, and then of course prospecting. And we've got a whole kit and marketing plan that we can email too if you just contact me at eric.stein@insuredsolutions.net or on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to get you a copy of it. But in the meantime, enjoy the webinar. I think it would be really informative and it's about 30 minutes long. My name is Eric Stein, Insured Solutions. Looking forward to going over the new work comp program in Ohio and the selling strategy and sales strategy for that. And hopefully some of you, I think I saw on the list that attended some of my prior webinars on the program. Welcome to Insurance Shop Talk. This is the podcast where the world of commercial insurance gets a little closer to home. I'm your host, Eric Stein, and in every episode, we're taking a deep dive into the insurance industry. From the latest news and trends to in-depth interviews with insurtech experts, carriers, and agency newsmakers, we're covering it all. So sit back, tune in, and let's start the conversation. Our first webinar was just generally about the program and how it works. The second webinar we did was about the basics of Ohio workers' comp, since the system there is different than many other states, and then how it's set up and then how it works. Um, and those webinars, by the way, are on my podcast website at insuranceshoptalk.com. That's insuranceshoptalk.com. And I'll be shooting an email with this recording for those of you that registered. And if you shoot me a note back, I'll include those prior webinars in case you want to send those to the team or review it yourself as well. So we'll go ahead and get going now that everybody's here. So basically, just to kind of back up a minute about who we are, Insured Solutions, because this is the first time we've been able to offer a workers' comp program in Ohio, being that it is monopolistic. So we're very excited about it. We are a wholesaler specializing in workers' comp nationwide. We work through the property, casualty, and insurance agent network. We've been around over 15 years and we're private equity backed. We're based in Atlanta. My daughter, I don't know if anybody can see my shirt, but I have the Ohio State shirt on. My daughter's a sophomore at Ohio State. And so, even though I'm a Bulldog fan, I'm rooting for you guys this Saturday against IU. That'll be a great game. Um, and then, as far as the program itself, to kind of again recap, the name of the program is called an AEO, or Alternate Employer Organization. This was set up by Senate Bill 201 in Ohio and then approved by the BWC to allow for another option for workers' comp claims services, risk management services that does not require the client to be part of any sort of PEO model or have to change payroll systems. Um, and then the folks that we represent, the programs that are approved in Ohio, so that we can make the best fit for you and your client. Many of them have different criteria, so we'll make the best match for you on that regard. And then the programs also are a approved BWC self-insured program. Most of these folks that are offering it have been around over 15, 20 years in Ohio already with a self-insured program, already had it approved. They either owned a temporary staffing companies or TPAs there in workers' comp, and some MCOs. And they formed this service when it was allowed in 2021. And then they haven't really tapped into the agent market yet. So that's where we come in to help, bridge the gap there so that you can offer this program direct. Most all of the other services, though, do have direct sales teams going after clients directly. So I'm really happy that we can now let you, have access for your clients and prospects and get a commission as well. So again, as I mentioned, it's unlike the PEO, the client does not have to change payroll. They do not have to give up their FEIN number in regards to the payroll taxes. It's truly just a pay-as-you-go workers' comp claims administrative services. So some of the quick benefits of the model are that right now the clients have to predict what their premium is going to be every few months or so. It's even, they don't offer any kind of installment program at the BWC currently. And so the clients get into a scenario of a true up and audits, and it gets really unpredictable. With this program, it's billed as earned, pay as you go. The client, whatever their pay cycle is now, the billing is done per pay period. So it's on actual premium. Therefore, it avoids that whole prediction and true up and audit surprise. We're typically seeing between 20 and 30% savings, depending on the client situation. There's no deposits, again, no audits. I'll show you a slide in a minute about the claims process. It's really streamlined now. They just deal with one provider to process a workers' comp claim, and they really get a partner in regards to that because of the self-insured arrangement. And by the way, the client has no deductible and no liability for being under the self-insured program. That's monitored again by the BWC for the AEO with audits and all kinds of financial stability that needs to happen there. So there's absolutely no risk. As a matter of fact, the client actually keeps a policy number with the BWC in addition to the new providers, so that they continue to maintain that policy number in case they ever did need to come back to it. And all the older claims are based on that. This is ideal, by the way, for logistics, Amazon last mile, transportation, construction, staffing companies, temp staffing, manufacturing, anybody with a very high premium of over 50,000 in premium. Hey everybody, it's Eric. I just want to pop in for a quick announcement. Exciting news. I just launched my new book on Amazon. It's called The Blueprint, an insurance agency's unconventional rise to the top. And it goes through a little bit about how I built the agency Insured Solutions since 2009 to today, and the blueprint in terms of how I actually did it with the tech stack, the offshore, nearshore talent, and digital marketing techniques that I use. So pick up a copy today on Amazon. Thanks, guys. And then, so we might be wondering, why should I take the time to offer workers' comp and claims service now that it's available, other than somewhat of the obvious of earning a commission. And by the way, the commission is 6% of premium for the life of the account. But what I've done, and I know many of you have already sold workers' comp in other states surrounding Ohio. And it's a great prospecting tool just to get into the account with something new to talk about if you're not already writing the account for their package. And of course, existing clients are really easy targets because you have a kind of a general idea of the number of employees they have. Usually 25, 30 plus is the nice minimum there to focus on that you're maybe writing the package for, or other lines. So this will allow you to just easily email one form, which we'll go over in a moment, to get them a cost comparison to see if it's going to work for them. It keeps the competitors out, other agents out of your account, so you can keep a lock on the account. Right now, it's going to be vulnerable. You've got a lot of folks calling on them at this point. You may not have realized it yet or heard it yet, but it's becoming very popular. This and some of the PEO programs actually that include workers' comp are going after the clients directly. The other nice thing is there's no ongoing service responsibilities. The paper is BWC still, but the AEO is keeping track of the billing, the servicing issues. They do let us know, and we let you know. about any problems so we could get anything resolved the client might have. So you don't have to actually do any extra service work. Um, and once the client, as long as they report and pay on time, it goes very, and report claims on time, it goes very smoothly as well. And again, a one-page form to quote the service versus having to deal with accords and loss runs. Although if it's a newer business or maybe has multiple states, then there would be that. And speaking of multiple states, some of the providers are offering multi-state coverage. So I know many of you have clients in Indiana, Kentucky, and so Michigan, so on. That now that some of the programs, again, if it's a fit in terms of the risk, do offer other states coverage, so the client can pretty much combine everything into one if you'd like that. We also have access to nationwide work comp coverage if you'd like to work with us on the general agency side, if it's not offered already or approved, by the provider. And then back to that claim service, I know many of you, again, haven't really dug into the weeds on workers' comp quite a bit, but right now, when there's an injury with the client, the injured worker, reports the claim to the employer. Then the employer has to contract with a TPA, third-party administrator, an MCO, managed care organization, the BWC, and all these people have to communicate. The BWC seems to be more geared to just pay claims. That's what they're about, too. Whereas under the AEO model, the client just has to send the injured worker's information, the first report of injury, directly to the AEO provider. They will manage the claim. They're going to be a little more aggressive too if the claim is fraudulent, as noted by the customer, because they are trying to make a profit on the workers' comp piece of the puzzle and in other areas. So they want to keep claims as low as possible. They don't want to just pay a claim if it's not legitimate. If it is, of course, they will. The AEO um, is already contracted with the TPA. Many use Shakely, some own their own TPA, the MCO, and of course the BWC is who is funding the insurance in this arrangement as well. So really helps the client with communication and just one place to send. Now, moving on into the sales model. And again, I was going to mention anybody that has questions along the way, please put it in the chat and I'm going to get to it at the end. And I'll remind you to ask questions at the end as well. But please put that in the chat for me. And I want to make sure to cover everything and anything. But back into the sales piece. So again, targeting. So high premiums, over $4 or $5 a hundred. And by the way, I'm going to send you with the webinar recording a list of the manual rates in Ohio. So you kind of get a feel for the workers' comp classes and the pricing there in case you want that. Construction, manufacturing, staffing, logistics, auto services, nursing, skilled nursing, home health, even. And then some of the providers will even take the height risk if the premium's big enough, like over 100,000, like roofing, and so on. So, and others will not. So we will help make that fit, as I mentioned. I would think in your mind, if you don't want to kind of count the premium, any client in a blue collar type industry above with over 25, 30 employees should be kicking off some premium over 50,000. The 50,000 is a good number to target because that's enough premium for the client to save a substantial amount of money to make it worth, just switching. I do have providers that'll go as low as 2,000 in premium. So I like that just because it lets you and I have a way to just get some quotes going so you could look at how the cost comparisons work there. So another thing would be that if a client's complaining about the true ups or audits or TPA fees they have to continually pay, that means they're a good fit. And of course, if you're already writing their insurance and they have over 25 employees, I'm going to show you some emails to send that you could send. And I'm going to send these out as templates as well in a Word document so you could just cut and paste it to get some action going with your current customers as well. Um, so that's just an easy target. And as far as the marketing strategy, just probably like what you do internally, unfortunately, it takes multiple touches and methods, right, to reach these clients. Easiest is the email, sending out a note to them, which again, I'm going to supply you with for current clients and prospective clients, just real simple email outlining that it's now available. And I'll show you that in a moment. Of course, picking the phone up, calling your existing clients, or if you are prospecting, talking to your prospects about it, asking if they've heard about it. If they're already a client and have opted in, to text them about it as well. LinkedIn and any kind of social media that maybe the agency's already part of, that would be a great way to launch it. Um, so the phone positioning for the, conversation is basically to just ask, have they heard about the new BWC program that's them save 20 to 30% on the workers' comp? Just see if they've even heard about it. And then you follow up with, of course, pay-as-you-go billing, no deposit, no true up. A lot of folks may think they have to combine their payroll and the workers' comp, which in this model they do not, which is great for all of us just for saving time. But by the way, on that note, some clients may already have a payroll service, or maybe they are in a PEO now that has the payroll service. So it's kind of a pain in the neck for them to, unbundle it. So I think actually all the providers will offer payroll services at an additional price that's very reasonable, in line with an ADP or Paychex, that kind of price. So feel free to, note that the client could add payroll to it, and actually simplifies that billing for them, because now it's included with their payroll every pay period as part of that payroll process. But again, not necessary. I want to make that extremely clear. They can switch anytime during the year, and it's just a one-page form to quote. So these would be the main points you'd want to do it, to highlight there. And then I've got a sample email script that pretty much goes over the same thing, that talks about cutting costs, ask if their premium's over 50,000. Let's do a quick comparison. And again, I've got an AC3 form, a brochure, and even an example AC3 form. That's the form used to download the information to quote, that you can attach to the email to your current customers. LinkedIn, another great strategy, to, again, especially if you're prospecting, to go ahead and announce that you now are offering workers' compensation services in Ohio. And again, I do want to reiterate to one other point, that you do not have to actually be licensed to sell the service, because it is a service. It's not selling just the workers' comp. They must buy into the service of the claims, risk management services, and the billing methodology, in order to qualify to get access to the workers' comp. They can't just buy the workers' comp and that's it, like they could direct with the BWC. So this is a service. You're not really selling standalone workers' comp, as well. And then common objections that I'm hearing out there as we're starting to do some sales, is that clients are getting a little confused about what this is. So they say, hey, we already have a TPA. Well, you want to respond back that, hey, this program includes the claims management and TPA at no additional cost, and the MCO, and access to attorneys, and access to the BWC, as we saw on the slide earlier. Another objection is, hey, I don't want a PEO. I don't want to lose my employees. I don't want to outsource my payroll. And again, you can happily say, hey, great news. This is not a co-employment or PEO arrangement. You keep all your employees under your own tax ID number. So that's how to handle that one. A lot will say, hey, we just renewed. And then the great news there is that you can say you can switch anytime. There's not a waiting period or a penalty to change like in many other carriers that have short rate penalties. Um, they might say, hey, this seems kind of complicated. I just want to stay with the state fund. And then you can let them know that the great news is that the program setup managers handle all the setup. There's really no payroll data they have to really send as far as getting loaded or sent. They just report their payroll information. Actually, a matter of fact, some of the providers will go ahead and, with permission of the customer, and get access to like a CPA portal access where you can't change any data, but it allows the provider to log in every pay period, grab the workers' comp report they need to do the billing, And so the client doesn't have to send anything in. So once they get set up once, they're good to go and they just report claims and pay. Um, so we won't get into much detail here. This was on the last webinar, but I did want you to know the names if you haven't already heard them and the differences. A lot of clients will say, hey, I'm in a group rating plan, so I don't really need any other discounts. Well, that could be true, and we are seeing that if they are in a group rating or a group plan, I'll cover in a moment, that they may have really phenomenal pricing and we can't beat it. And we'll just let them know, hey, you're great right where you are. However, if you do have any claims and they want to eject you from the program at a certain point, which they do that once a year, they look at that at the these group plans. So you can have them as a backup, but the group rating plan is basically a heavily discounted plan for mainly folks that have really ideal loss history. So they may be in good shape there. Another plan is a group retro plan that's more of a refund type program or rebate program they might be in too. But again, I think the answer would be, hey, let's take a look at it and just see. All I need is a one-page form and let's compare it. And if you need to stay where you are, you absolutely are going to. So we're going to do what's best for you, and that's going to be obvious based on the pricing. Um, so, so why do employers want to make a switch? Obviously, savings. The pay-as-you-go cash flow is really ideal for blue-collar businesses because they don't have to get into the true ups. And they get the immediate savings, like literally the day, the week they move over their payroll, they start getting the savings immediately, and they're going to get some extra help. I've heard a lot of clients that have done presentations complain that the BWC just automatically paying a claim, or that's what literally a lot of the carriers do. This again, they're going to get a partner who's truly in a partnership because of the profitability in terms of the workers' comp to help look over their shoulder when the customer says, hey, this is fraud, help me, and they can help the client with other risk management services like return to work programs, and hiring and ways to hire using legal means to make sure that jobs descriptions are written properly and the employee can fit that job description and so on. Um, Now, as far as the AC3 form and how to use it, first of all, I will say this. Send it as a DocuSign if you can. That's going to get your clients to complete it a lot easier, as you know. Most clients now like doing that on their phones or computers. So if you can send this as a DocuSign with one of your account managers or yourself, this is ideal. But what the HC3 form does is it's a form from the BWC that will allow the provider to access temporarily the claims data from the BWC program for that client, their workers' comp classes, their loss history, what type of program they're in, their actual current cost, so they can do the price comparison. And it's basically the providers are able to download this every Thursday. So depending on when you get it back into us, I would say give it, if we get it in, let's say on a Wednesday, we'll probably have the quote back in 5 to 7 days. If we're past the Thursday deadline, we need to wait for the next Thursday to pull it. And then the quote will be ready then. So it could take 10 to 14 business days, depending on if we're hitting it on a Wednesday or is it past the Thursday deadline. And as far as the form itself, this is just a quick snapshot of how easy it is to complete. They put their policy number, their name and address here. They do leave this section blank regarding who is accessing the data because we want to fill that in with the right provider name. And then it's cut off here, but they just fill in their name and number, email address, and sign it. Also, we ask that you keep this on file for over 6 months or 3 months in case we need to review it again based on a renewal date. Everything in at the BWC, by the way, renews July 1st. Not that we have to wait for that, but sometimes we need to wait for that to see what the client's pricing is going to look like. But really simple. And again, DocuSign. If you can do this as a DocuSign, you'll really improve your odds of getting it back in just because clients are busy and so on. Um, and then I wanted to show kind of a quick cost comparison example because again, when you get the form in, I get a quote back, a comparison. first of all, I'm going to let you know I have it, and I'll set up a quick Teams meeting on the first one or two or however many you like that we privately can just go over it and see what your thoughts are. Even if it's high, for the first ones, I want you to see the process, and I'll have different providers so they all have a little different tweak to them. So I will go over this with you, and then you decide if you want to present it or not. And then from there, again, to give you an example, I had one agent I'd already been working with in Michigan who writes commercial package for Amazon delivery drivers in Ohio. And he was so excited to be able to now offer the workers' comp in addition to the package. And these premiums are great. They're like, this client was paying $90,000 in the BWC. The provider came in at $56,000, saving them 34 grand. We had about, I don't know, 10 or 11 clients sent the forms in. We closed around four of them at a clip of around six, 700,000 in premium in about 60 days. The agent was elated. The clients were really happy because the Amazon driver firms are on a very, very tight margin with Amazon. So to save them 34 grand a year is phenomenal. Now, not that everyone will get this kind of savings, but you can see what I mean that we do need to keep those premiums a little higher over that 50,000 mark to get this kind of savings that will really drive the client to want to make a switch. But again, if you don't have that, don't worry. I have other, ways to write it. Um, also, when you make the presentation to the customer, I could be on with you. We can invite the provider to be on with us. I've done that with the Teams or Zoom meetings, and it works really great because they can ask all kinds of questions, that they can be answered immediately and just gets a comfort level. And we can do that for as little or as long as you'd like. Again, we know that this is your client. You're going to dictate how the process works, but I would recommend for the first few that we get on together and or have the provider on to make that presentation so we make sure to answer all the objections or questions there. Um, and then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be emailing out to you the templates to send to clients requesting the forms in a Word document that you can cut and paste. I also have brochures that explain the program that are like in a Word document that you could add your agency contact info and your contact info as well in those. We have to train others in the agency. We have PowerPoints and other items for training. And I would love to be able to do that. My goal, it would really be to have just a select number of agencies that we work with in all the different major cities in Ohio, Cleveland, Columbus, and so on. And then get ingrained within your agency, especially if you have producers that are out making, knocking on doors right now and your current clients and really just get a nice flow and a nice system working that you're comfortable with and get everyone trained and do it in multi-step processes maybe after the first of the year when the holidays die down. So anyone interested in that, please let me know. I've got telemarketing scripts that are included in that as well. And then another thing that we're going to be testing is a leads program where we're going to, in the major cities, be digging up leads that fit the criteria of blue collar, 50,000 plus in premium, and setting appointments for agents there in those cities. To qualify for that program, all I need, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible just because I'd like to get it beta tested. And if you're willing to help me beta test that, we just need you to email one AC3 form over 50,000 in premium to qualify. And we don't have to make a sale for that. But we want that to just to qualify. So if you could just have one current client or prospect with over 50,000, then I'd like to catch you up on how the leads program is going to work. And again, we're going to be testing that. As you guys know, it's if you've done prior marketing before, it's a long process to kind of dig up enough, activity. But we hope to do it in a very targeted way. And by the way, you can use those not only to sell the workers' comp, but to and program, but to also try to sell that prospect the commercial package and any other lines you have. You do not need to go through us for any of that. We just ask that we get a chance to quote the workers' comp with you. And as far as the quote, the kind of the call to action for others who may be not interested in the complete program is like let's like test this. Pick one, two, three, or how many clients you would like. Get them the AC3 form. Let them know you're doing this. Send it in. Let's just test quote some accounts. You decide if you're going to present it, like I said. And we, let you see from the quoting process, and hopefully we get a sale so you can actually see an onboarding process and the service model that's available. The clients, by the way, can exit the program with a 30-day notice and go back to the BWC with no penalty as well. So they're not locked in, although I've not seen with the clients we've sold any real major service problems. The main thing is I've had one or so get canceled because they didn't pay properly or on time and report on time. So if the client follows the protocol, reports claims, reports payroll, reports payment, pays their bill, they're very happy typically. No problems. So this kind of just highlights what we've already covered. And now I'd like to open it up for questions in the chat box. If you have a Q&A box, question box mark on your side or chat, please go ahead and type some questions in now for me. And okay, I see one coming in. Um, on that. First of all, does a client what happens to their losses with their prior policy? How does that work with the BWC policy? Yeah, great question. So on that note, the clients will keep their BWC policy number, as I mentioned. All the older claims that were on that policy are going to stay with that policy number. Any new claim will start with the new provider. Over time, too, by the way, their mod will then end up going down to a one if it's not already at a one or less because there won't be any activity on it. And then the claims are continued to be processed under that older policy, by the way, as I mentioned. The other question is for construction clients in regards to their mod, what if they had over a one mod and the BWC? In that regard, that could be good news. If the construction company has got a mod over one currently, they would now be adopting the program manager's self-insured program mods. So, and that they're all less than one. So the program managers have a way to provide that information, to the vendor or the construction firm to show they have less than a one mod. So that could be another selling point that I didn't get to mention for clients who are in construction who have over a one mod or getting boxed out of being able to quote accounts. Um, let's see what else we've got here. Oh, the other question is like, what if the client doesn't want to do pay as you go? Some of the programs do offer an installment plan, and I'll just keep an eye on the, billing to make sure it's not getting out of line, like with a big payroll spike, and then they have a factor to be able to catch them up over time, so they don't run into this whole true up issue technically. But some will offer installments. I'll let you know as we quote what options they will have in regards to reporting. P&C agents, have you run into Byberg, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company quoting workers' comp for either your prospects or clients? Well, great news. Insured Solutions, a national MGA, has an appointment that is set up to allow you to quote, bind, and service Byberg at your agency. And the coverage is in all states. It's A-rated. Startups are even accepted. There's 125,000 maximum premium. And some of the tough industries they write are construction, transportation, that includes towing and parcel delivery, manufacturing, security guards that are armed and unarmed, motor mediation, and many more. So go to our website at insuredsolutions.net, click the Get Appointed link. We'll get you logins for you and your team and can set up a webinar for training if you'd like. Also, feel free to email info@insuredsolutions.net and I can handle the submission myself, or call 770-402-5343. Be glad to speak to you and give you more detail. Thanks. I think that's all we have. We've stuck pretty close to that 30 minutes. If anyone has any questions or is excited to get going, please shoot me an email or call me. Let's set up a time to talk a little bit and get started. I think this is going to be a great way for for everyone to, make some more, cash there. Let's see. Wait, I think I just got another question here. What protects us from a client going around us, especially if they don't need to be licensed? Really, it goes back to just similar first in. If whoever submits the account to us first can, is protected. And so I think the more you could actually get appointed with us and set up with us, I'm letting the providers know who we're working with already. So they will help protect us too. But again, first in on submission like a traditional carrier. Here's one. Let's see. I have a risk in Ohio. I'll write all the lines except for the comp. The client does itself. Very unlikely premium exceeds the 10 to 15,000. Is it worth me asking them to quote? Absolutely. It'll be a great way for us to check it as well, just to kind of see for you to see how the process works. So I would recommend doing that as well. Let's look at it. I did notice too. I'm glad you brought that up. Like I did have some client agents send me some accounts that one was over 60,000 and the client was just getting a phenomenal price in the group plan. But because there's the program managers have a way to do a prediction, we saw that like in July, it would make sense for the client because of their losses and their change to go ahead. They would save like 20 or 30 grand once in if they waited to July 26. So that might happen. There's all these scenarios that I want to show you, and the only way we can do it is just kind of get some live examples. And of course, you just wouldn't make the presentation to the client, let them know that you checked it, you've done some due diligence, and it's not the right time for them. They're in a good shit and they're in good shape, where they are, and to stay where they are. Had another question here. Can you do other states outside of Ohio? Yes. So two ways on that. Some of the providers are offering multi-state coverage. So that's the best scenario if they can get approved under that, because all that reporting will come into one, provider each pay period or installment, depending. Also, as Insured Solutions, the agency, general agency, we have Byberg, other PI, other carriers that write national coverage. So if you'd like us to just, along with the quote for the Ohio portion, to quote the other portion, then we will, basically be able to do that for you. So keep typing away, guys. Anybody else that has any questions, I like to appreciate your enthusiasm. All right, well, that looks like it's it. But do call me if you have any questions. Shoot me an email. Love to talk to you, meet you. If we don't do something right away, I'm sure we will. We're also going to be hosting some events, and I'll be in Ohio soon as well. On the getting appointed part, basically, if you shoot me an email, I will, and Nigel, I have your contact here. I'll go ahead and shoot you a note. I will get you the appointment paperwork to get started. And we also have an online version of it and a paper version too. So I would recommend getting appointed with us just so we can set your name up with the provider so they know that, I'm actively marketing your client accounts to get some protection there. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate everyone's support and looking forward to working with you. Thanks again for tuning in to Insurance Shop Talk. If you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest trends, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, I'm Eric Stein, and this has been Insurance Shop Talk.